Hi guys, I am Muhammad Ayub.
And I'm Muhammad Ghamari.
And my name is Muhammad Khorasani.
And of course, I am Muhammad Al-Ramahi.
Today we will be giving you a presentation.
Let me start, you never let me talk.
As I was saying, we will be giving a presentation about the performance of cars with age. We will show you 3 of the experiments we conducted.
The first experiment was a coasting test to determine the coefficients of drag and rolling resistance of a vehicle.
Then we carried out a drag race to find the maximum acceleration, horsepower, and torques of the cars.
And lastly, we conducted an average fuel consumption test by driving in the city.
All of our results were then compared with manufacturer data and relative percentage decline in vehicle performance was computed, which we will show you today.
Enjoy!
We connected the KWPLX device to the OBD or onboard diagnostics port of each car and synced it with our Apple iPhone. Then we ran the application Rev to gauge and record all the data we needed.
Our main experiment involved finding the coefficient of drag and rolling resistance of our vehicle. Each car was coasted in a neutral geared in a straight line from 70 to 0 km per hour, and the speed against time was recorded. This experiment was then repeated several times for each vehicle. Using the data from the OBD, a velocity profile for each car was computed and inserted into a model studied in our literature review. This model would then compare our velocity profile with that of a vehicle with a known coefficient of drag and rolling resistance, and through a method of trial and error, the coefficients were then determined.
The coefficient of drag is determined by the frontal area of the car, and the coefficient of rolling resistance is subject to the condition of the wheel. The greater the frontal area and the worse the condition of the wheel, the higher both these coefficients will be. We conducted the coasting test in both directions of the same road for greater ease. However, due to small road inclination effects, our coasting distances were very different. A t-test was done to prove that the results were statistically inequivalent. To solve this problem, we computed an average of both runs. The average velocity profile was then compared with the velocity profile of a model car, and the coefficients were then determined.
In order to obtain the wheel horsepower, torque and acceleration, we acquired several vehicles of varying mileage. Then we completed a short drag race of 0 to 60 miles per hour and recorded the following data: maximum wheel horsepower, maximum torque, and maximum acceleration. We later repeated the previous steps several times for each vehicle and then obtained the mean, standard deviation, and confidence intervals. Lastly, we computed the relative percentage reduction in vehicle performance against age by comparing the mentioned parameters with manufacturer data from the internet.
In order to obtain the average fuel consumption of our vehicles, we again acquired several vehicles of varying age and drove them normally on city roads at legal speed for several minutes. The instantaneous and average fuel consumption were recorded against time. This experiment was repeated several times for each vehicle, and the mean, standard deviation, and confidence intervals were calculated. Lastly, we computed a relative percentage reduction in fuel consumption against age of car by comparing our data with the manufacturer data.
Once all the results for the coefficients of drag, rolling resistance, fuel consumption, maximum torque, acceleration, and horsepower were found, the percentage decrease was then calculated for each parameter and plotted against mileage. As was expected for all parameters, apart from rolling resistance, a negative correlation with quadratic regression was found. So what is the optimum lifetime of a car? Well, if you set the bar at an overall decrease of 10% in performance, then your car's optimum life is roughly 190,000 kilometers.